Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Well, Henry, you kind of answered your own question. Snakes are an inherent fear that a lot of people have, and a lot of kids have, and that actually was literally why Mattel created the Snakeman. I mean, they wanted a new villain faction, but turning them into snakes is clear from the 85 memo, not menu, excuse me, can't talk today. Yeah, the Snakemen were created because, well, it was even referenced, like Indiana Jones, everyone is afraid of snakes. You can go check out my Origin of the Snakeman video. I'll link it to the end if you want the whole story. But today we're talking about a specific Snakeman, and that is Ssqueeze. Various spellings of various double letters based on availability. Now, Ssqueeze has had different figures over the years. He's made it into pretty much every Masters of the Universe line, which is surprising because so many characters don't. And the amount of fan art online does reveal that his popularity continues. So what's so great about this character? Well, he's probably one of the most snake-like of the Snakemen, especially in the 2000X version where they put little faces on the ends of his arms. So it looks like he's got two giant snakes coming out of him. So he's like, you know, triple the Snakeman. We actually did talk about doing those hands or the snake faces as alternate plugins on the Classics figure, but unfortunately we just could not afford the tooling. It was one bridge too far, if you will. All right, but we do need to address the elephant in the room of this figure, which is the fact that Ssqueeze, by very nature, is a figure that is, well, he curls around people to attack them. He squeezes them. And we've had a lot of issues on the Classics line with making figures that had bendable tentacles or, squeezable arms like that, if you will. I mean, Octavia is the perfect example where a lot of fans really wanted bendable tentacles, but we made them out of plastic, like the Doc Ock Marvel Legends figure. But they finally did a movable one with the 2-pack with what Aunt May it was. All right, that's a whole other YouTube video. So making Ssqueeze actually be able to grasp and squeeze around his enemies, it was just so inherent in the character. But every time we try to go kind of an extra mile, I tended to say that no good deed goes unpunished with the Classics line, because when we did put in bendable appendages, like we did with Snout Spout, hence talking about the elephant in the room, the trunk would snap and broke. So that was why we didn't do the bendy on Octavia, because we went the extra mile on Snout Spout and it backfired. So we're like, okay, no more bendy. We fixed Snout Spout by putting out an alternate head and a head pack eventually, which I hope made up for that. I actually prefer that head, but it's really just, badass. But as far as making Ssqueeze be able to bend his arms, it just felt like if we didn't do that, it wouldn't be work for the character. Snout Spout doesn't have to have a movable trunk, but Ssqueeze, if you can't, use his arms to grab people, then it just kind of feels like you haven't done that character justice. So we went ahead, and especially because the arms were a lot thicker than Octavia's tentacles or even Snout Spout's snout. So it gave us a little bit more reassurance that we wouldn't have the snapping factor that we got with Snout Spout. At least we really hoped so, because we hated when we tried to put in extra features like that and it would just backfire. So that meant he was really cool for promotions, because we wanted to show off the fact that we had that wire that ran through the arm for full posability, and that was a selling point, so we wanted to make sure to broadcast that. And I was so proud that we got to all of the Snakemen. I mean, for the third-tier villain, the villains that were put out at the end of the line, they really lived on in pop culture, and the fact that you can kind of, sort of, find them at retail today blows my mind. But it's awesome. All right, and to kind of close us off with one fun fact, Tim Kilpin, who went on to be the general manager of Mattel and is actually now the president of Hasbro, when he was much younger, he was the brand manager over Masters of the Universe, and he's the one who named all the Snakemen originally. And when he was at Mattel as a general manager, he mentioned to me, hey, you know that I originally named him Tanglore, but they changed it at the last minute to Ssqueeze. So just thought I'd throw that in there. It's one of the fun things you get from working at Mattel is learning odd trivia.